If I could run off with you, baby girl, you know I would. Give you everything you need, anything you should. Love the way your hair move, blowing in the breeze. Love the way your body move when you dance on me. Essence is a presence, girl, I love your company. Love the way you break it down when we roll trees. Girl, you got me feeling high, I don't need weed. Girl, you got me feeling high, I don't need weed. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the If I could run off with you, baby girl, you know I would. Give you everything you need, everything you should. Love the way your hair move, blowing in the breeze. Love the way your body move when you dance on me. Essence is a presence, girl, I love your company. Love the way you break it down when we roll trees. Girl, you got me feeling high, I don't need weed. Girl, you got me feeling high, I don't need weed. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the I won't play no games, baby, I ain't tryna stress ya. Don't just want your body, baby, not just tryna sex ya. I won't make it hard, baby, I ain't about to test ya. I'm just tryna free your mind, I'm just tryna bless ya. We could pour some wine and maybe we could lay up. Or we could get some coffee and maybe we could stay up. All I do is crush a lot, girl, I ain't no player. You know you got my heart, girl, tell me what you saying. Call my phone up, then drop the location. Go be a long night, go be moaning all night. Then we wake up, damn baby girl, you know it's late. Said I leave a 4:45, now it's 10 to 8. And I'm just really proud of this thing we got building. And maybe I could wife you and we could have some children. Throw some Netflix, smoke up some weed. Then let that sex drip, then back to sleep. And I just wanna tell her everything she might need. But in the meantime, it's lights please, lights please. Lights please, lights please. Back shot, then we go another round. Ass up, with your head facing the ground. Girl, it's been so long, can I get up in it now? King of the West, now I'm about to rain on the South. Tryna get you wet, tryna get you Pacific Ocean. Tryna get you right, girl, you know my love is potent. Tryna get you right, tryna get you smoking Doja. Tryna get you right, girl, you know my love is kosher. Tried to stay sober, but this liquor taking over. Knock your walls down, you can call me bulldozer. Take off your jeans and take off your blouse. I'm about to show the meaning of the word of mouth. Girl, I cannot be your man, but I can for the night. You ain't gotta take your panties off, slide them to the side. Girl, I'll go to war for you, even go hell and back. Girl, I want the war for you, gold, diamonds, platinum plaques. Will you take a chance? Will you let this love shine? Cause only real shit lasts the test of time, you know. That's the test of time, you know. If I could run off with you, baby girl, you know I would. Give you everything you need, everything you should. Love the way your hair move, blowing in the breeze. Love the way your body move when you dance on me. Essence is a presence, girl, I love your company. Love the way you break it down when we roll trees. Girl, you got me feeling high, I don't need weed. Girl, you got me feeling high, I don't need weed. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the queens. This is for the girlfriends, this is for the If I could run off with you, baby girl, you know I would. Give you everything you need, everything you should. Love the way your hair move, blowing in the breeze.
Good evening, y'all, and happy Tuesday.
Yes.
To all of my queens and my kings out there. You guys, it is 7:30 and you are now tuned in to Queen's Table Talk here on the Hub Radio. I am your host, Mono's Best, and I am here with my co-host, Miss Lovey Leah.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
You are excited today. I'm here
I'm
for your
really
energy.
excited.
I'm here for your puff. I'm here for all of this. So keep it
Thanks.
up, okay?
Thanks.
And we have Miss Jasmine Renee.
What's up, what's up?
Yes, let's come through, y'all. Come through. Okay, so you guys, we have a very special episode for you tonight. I'm so excited. We have Nzinga Kalila here in the building with us. Oh my goodness. So we're going to have her on in a little bit. She is a saxophonist. She is going to bless us with some awesome tunes, awesome jazz sounds. So we're really excited to have her sit on with us. And then you guys, so if you guys do not know, we have been doing this show since, well, we've been live since November, but really QTT has been like in the works for a long time, like
October.
Yeah, well, even before October, you know.
Oh shoot, it was.
Well, even like, you know, when QTT first got, like when it was a thought, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, you know.
A year
So
ago from now?
Yeah.
just about.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow.
So QTT
It went by like
technically,
that.
yeah. So technically, it is a year old, but we have been live for 6 months now. So today will be our last show before we go on a little break. We're gonna take a summer break. So I really, really hope you guys are excited as we are. We're gonna do some reflecting of on the past 6 months, and of course, like I said, we have Nzinga Kalila here in the building with us. So in the meantime, let's get into some table talk, you guys. So we had a 3-day weekend.
Yes.
So, how
Some
was
of
your
us.
weekend? Because you looked like you was lit. You looked like you was having a good time. So, how was your weekend?
You go first.
I didn't really do anything. I did this show on Saturday. That was pretty dope. I had Dre and Keith. If anybody knows both of them, it was crazy, of course. But it was a really good show. I always get feedback when they're in the studio. Good feedback when they're in the studio. And then I didn't do anything. I was with my family. I went to church. On Sunday, I was with my family for the rest of the day. My cousin just had a baby, so me and my other cousin went to go see her and their family. And then yesterday, I just, was just around. And then, Old Navy, well, I think the sale was over, but Old Navy had, a really good sale. So, I went over there. And I've been trying to spend less money on food. So I didn't feel as bad shopping because I've been trying to cook more and eat more at the house. So that was cool, but yeah, it went by too quick. I was not sad, but I was kind of I gotta go back to work. But the kids make it joyful sometimes. It was cool. Yeah, I just kind of rested and just ready for the school year to be over. So that's why I didn't really do anything.
Right.
When do you get out? When did
June
you school?
14th is our last.
Dang.
Yeah, so we
That's
have
late.
3 more weeks. Yeah.
What's
Dang.
now? When we were in school, that was around the time we used to get out. Was June.
A lot of the schools I know, they either get out this week or next week. So I'm like,
Yeah,
dang.
June. Well, some schools are out this week. There's a lot of
Yeah.
schools that are out this
Yeah.
week, but it's a charter school. They keep the kids in as long as they can, and then they'll go back the middle of August. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You know.
that's crazy.
What about you?
So, me. Okay, so on Saturday, I don't even remember what I did. I just kind of hung out with my family. My sister's back from school, so I hung out with her. And then Sunday was my 6-year anniversary.
Oh,
Yeah, 6
come through,
years.
Black Love.
Long time, let me tell you. So we went to it is, yes, I love him to death, but 6 years, if you really think about it, dang, the time went by so fast. We started off going to prom together, and then now we're here at 6 years. So we went to dinner, and it was really nice. It was really chill. And then Sunday I had to work, but Sunday was our actual anniversary. And then for Memorial Day, I went to Brunch to Bomb. Shout out to them. It was super, super duper packed. Super duper. It was only $5 to get in, so of course people really jumped on it. And then it was just, I'm never on time when it comes to stuff like that. So, I had to kind of wait outside a little bit. But it was worth the wait because when we got in, it was, really legit, fun. It
the
was
food
fun.
and what
Well,
was
I
the
didn't. I'm
experience?
kind of cheap. So, I didn't want to pay, $5 and then pay $30 and then pay for, I wasn't about to
But
pay
it was
no
$5 to get in and $30 for
Yeah.
unlimited.
So
food,
it
or-
yeah. So it was $5 to get in just to just be there, and then $30 for the brunch part of it. But you could just, a lot of people, I think they just went for the $5 and you get in because it's a day party, So basically I went to a day party for $5 because I ate before, and and I didn't drink or anything like that because it was expensive. It was $20 for adios.
It was music. And
It's crazy. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was cool because it was it's kind of a old school vibe. So they have Jenga, the jumbo
the huge
Jenga.
ones. Okay.
Yeah, they had a bunch of tables like that. They played the cha-cha slide. So it's more so fun, kind of grown people fun. There was a few celebrities there. He's not really that big of a celebrity. The guy who's from Love and Hip Hop who was fighting with the
None
one
of
from
them are
Hollywood.
celebrities.
No, he's not really a big. He was the chubby dude that with the other. They're the 2 gay guys that were fighting.
Oh,
The
not
short-
the one
not-
with the blonde hair, but the one who was the.
Not the darker skin one with the little braids.
Yeah, I don't.
But the
I
other
don't watch
one.
Love and Hip Hop. I just know
Okay, well
I see the
I
spikes
remember.
sometimes
Yeah,
on
I remember him.
Instagram.
So I was like, oh, he's from Love and Hip Hop or whatever. But it was really fun. And then I had like a little, if you follow me on Instagram, I had a little bit of Lovely. I had a little photo shoot, so I mean that was really nice. It was actually like no, we kind of like, since we got there late, we're kind of like we're still kind of like in the mood, and we're like, nobody's seen our outfit long enough, so we just started taking pictures in the middle of the street, honestly. And we did not plan the stripes; it just happened that way. So
that was cute.
Yeah, and I already had the outfit and everything, so I was just like, I'm gonna just throw this on. But yeah, it turned out really nice, and I'm like, some headshots. I got some nice headshots that I think I'm gonna actually use. So it turned out pretty nice.
You look really nice.
I appreciate it. Speaking of looking nice, what happened with your photo shoot? Because you were showing leg.
Girl, did you see me on my thigh? Did you see me?
I saw you.
So yes, I had a photo shoot upon Sunday. I'm currently working on a project that I'm really, really excited. I don't want to say too much too soon, but I'm really, really excited. So I had such a great time. Black Coffee TV. He did my photos, and he's amazing.
The guy from the brunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
That's where I met him at, his boss's that brunch. But he's definitely amazing from beginning to end. Even with the whole planning of my photo shoot, I told him what I wanted to do. He even wants to be a part of like, how's your hair gonna look? How's your outfit gonna look? So
really
he's very involved. So I really enjoyed that. And then I had my friend Kira with me. Shout out to her too. Like, she was really helping me get my life that day. So but it was really cool. So you guys, make sure that you stay tuned, because like I said, I do have something that I'm working on right now, but like I said, I don't want to say too much too soon. But other than that, I was really just chilling this whole weekend. Like Saturday, I had to work earlier that day, so when I had got home later on that day, I was so tired. I was like knocked out. I don't even remember going to sleep. That's just how tired I was. And then yesterday, I was with my family. We had a great time for Memorial Day. They had barbecue, but I really couldn't eat as much as I wanted to eat, because most of the food they had was just like ribs and hot wings. And I'm like, I can't eat all this, y'all. So I just had like a little salad here and there, you know. But
you don't eat not potatoes, beans, like the baked beans and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, baked beans are cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're okay. I don't really prefer them, but if they're there, I'll eat them.
Yeah.
You know? But it was cool. Like, and we played this game called Heads Up, and it's the black version. So they have different categories. So one of them was like things your mama would say, like, I'm not one of your little friends. And
every mom says that.
Yeah.
Every black mom says that.
And another one was like going to church, and it was different, like
that's
clues
the one
and
with
stuff. Yeah, when you put it up on your forehead.
And that's made by a black guy, because I was somewhere and we were playing it, and the guy was saying it was his friend. I guess he went to Brown University. They had met there, so it was cool to like see his friend was like, yeah, I support my friend or whatever, and y'all should download the game and everything. But it's a fun game, and the fact that they have it records who's playing is cool too.
Yeah, it does. And I love it because it's stuff that really, really pertains to the culture. Like, it was super fun. Like, from TV shows to movies, music, all that. It was so much fun. So definitely you guys should play. I believe it's called is it called Blebrity? Blebrity. That's what it's called. Blebrity. Yeah, no. It was really, really fun. But really fun, really quick, you guys, fun fact. Did you know that Memorial Day was created by black people?
No.
You didn't know that? Okay, so I just found this out yesterday. And I'm excited, but I was kind of bothered by it, because you know how of course we all know that there are certain things that they're left out of our history books and that we don't learn and stuff like this. I think it's pretty darn significant to know that Memorial Day was created by black people, you know?
Yeah.
So what they said was that after the Civil War, there were a lot of black soldiers who had died. So when they died, they pretty much just put them like in a mass grave, put all the bodies in a mass grave. And there were these black workmen who had came and dug up the bodies and had reburied them so they can properly honor them. And that's really how it got started. So on May 1st, 1895, they had their first Memorial Day parade. So, and that was in Charleston, South Carolina. So that's a little black history for y'all. I didn't know that. But it's definitely important for us to know our history. But whenever I hear stuff like this, like I said, it makes me excited, but at the same time, it kind of irritates me a little bit, because I'm like, we should have known this already. But
I bet like a lot of people don't know that. Like I've never even heard of anything like that.
Yeah, for real.
So,
but it makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, So
yeah, it's changed over. I guess what has been perceived of it, or what has been pushed out, has changed over the time. But yeah, that is cool. But did you guys? I don't know the picture. Do you want to talk about those videos?
Yes.
Well, you guys saw the white lady. I didn't see that. I heard about it.
Yeah,
But
on
the
the
white
beach.
lady that was getting beat up, and then I don't know where the black lady was, the one that I posted today, but she was pregnant, and I guess she was pulled away from her stroller, and then she began to like attack the police officer, and then they came. I don't know if they came to get her because she was pregnant, because initially I didn't know she was pregnant, or if that was just a natural reaction, like, oh, she's about to, ruin the cop, let's go get her. So I don't know, what you guys think about the...
I thought it was a shame because I mean, I just get so tired of cops always abusing their powers. And even if she did fight back, like, who are you to go and I don't care, badge or no badge, like, you don't get the right to go and attack somebody and think that somebody's not supposed to defend themselves, because what was even the cause of him grabbing her?
Yeah.
And she was standing up, so it wasn't like he had her handcuffed or was trying to handcuff and she just went in arms. Like, he literally was wherever he was, like near her or whatever, and just kind of like grabbed and attacked her, and then just got out of hand or whatever. But I'm like, that's what they need. I mean, that's what needs to start happening. Like,
So she had a stroller. She was pregnant.
by a stroller.
White folks can
She
fight
had
back.
her
I didn't
pregnant.
see. We actually posted a video.
The lady
of that.
was white or black?
She was black.
black.
Black woman.
That's crazy.
But I didn't see a whole white dude beat up a cop. It was trying to arrest him, and all the cops just stood around just looking while this little white boy beat up that cop. We posted that video.
And then there was like a grandmother. She was like, she had to be in her 60s or 70s, and they pulled her out of the car and like was jerking her around and stuff. So I'm like, it's definitely just, I guess us were just intimidating. So
Yeah, but there was actually another video of this cop, and he was beating up this white girl. And
on the beach?
On the beach.
Yeah, it was just...
Okay.
He was like, I don't know, wrestling her or something, because I was like, what are y'all doing?
I'm
Like,
not-
they were just flipping around the sand. I'm like, what are y'all
I'm
doing?
sorry. But
That's
like,
not-
what?
Yes, like, serious.
so
Like, I
funny.
was looking like, what am I watching? Like, she was just really struggling. And I'm
I
like,
need to go
y'all
watch.
can't hold her down. Like, she's not that big. Like, first of all, I mean,
But he was,
you know
like,
what I mean? But
punching
it was
her.
like, she was just kind of like fighting back and like winning low key for a minute. And I was just like, what's going on? Why are y'all tussling around in the sand?
I don't know.
Like, what
I
was
need
the
to go
cause
watch
of this?
But
Everybody's
you
just, and then
do.
you just see this one black girl just sitting there, like,
I would have said
I
just
would've
that.
said
looking, like,
Okay,
what's
so-
going on?
But I want to see if the feminist groups come and stand up for her, because it wasn't too long ago, right? It was a few days ago.
Yeah.
So I want to see like if they come up, but if they don't say nothing about this pregnant black woman, and that's why I don't rock with them. Like, all of these women, the Waffle House thing, Sandra Bland, they ain't came up and stood for nothing. But I'm sure somebody gonna say something about this white lady, and if they
Yeah.
don't, it's like, I mean, shoot. But I'm pretty sure they are gonna come out about something like.
I don't wish that upon nobody though. But am I wrong for saying I don't care? Like,
You're not
They
the
don't
first.
care
You're
about
not the
us.
first person that said that though. Like, you're
Yeah,
not the
like-
first person. Like, I honestly don't feel bad because you
Y'all
know,
fight for yourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
like,
having a hard
people give
time
me a
fighting
bad
for
right?
ourselves.
Because it was
so.
only like 2 people on her, but like, just imagine if it was a black woman, they probably would have had a lot more people. So
a pregnant black woman at that. Like,
yeah, that's
and then
crazy.
somebody was like, I'm sure, I don't know what she did, but I'm sure she didn't shoot up a school.
right?
And it's like, y'all treat these, I mean, just like in the This Is America video, you treat these guns and these shooters, these white shooters, with so much care and protection, but then it becomes an innocent black person. I saw a video today, and you know, when Childish, when he was, the first part of the video, when he did the little movement and then he shot the black guy, and they were just like, they put the title on there like it was a law-abiding black person, or a law-abiding gun owner, and they just shoot and kill, but then they take care of the gun, and it's something that's held personal. We got to make sure that nobody attacks or kills the murderer, but we care less about the victim.
we don't
of
even
it.
get our
Right.
day in court. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
You know, it's really a shame that, you know, we still have to that we still have to witness these videos. We still have to witness this abuse at the hands of those who are supposed to protect and serve. But you know, but that took kind of a turn. So let me lift up your spirits a little bit with some Black Girl Magic.
Yes.
So Really quick, we first have Genevieve Jones-Wright. Have you heard of her?
No.
So she is running for district attorney in San Diego. So she is okay. So I actually looked at an interview with her. She was actually doing an interview on TV, was like locally in San Diego. But the guy who was interviewing her, he was talking about how she had like so many donations for her campaign. And there's actually this billionaire. His name is George Soros. So he made a contribution of $1.5 million, which is actually the largest contribution that has been made in a race for a district attorney's office. So she's all about prison reform. She talks about the school to prison pipeline. She just her whole motto is true justice and just being authentic and just serving justice where it needs to be served. And in her interview, when I was listening to her, she was definitely touching on the school to prison pipeline, which is what we talked about here up on the show. And she talked about it in depth, you know, when she talks about how these schools and how these students are being institutionalized and how we need to do something about it. Oh my gosh. So I was here for her, and she's all about prison reform too. So shout out to her. I really do hope that she wins, because I really do feel like people, they always say, I don't like when they use the word progressive, like when they talk about certain how do I say, like when they talk about liberals and like progressives and Democrats, like I kind of don't like the word progressive, because I almost feel like you should be progressive. Like I feel like when you say progressive, that means that you are about progressing people and reform in prison.
It in what context?
Well, I feel like when people say progressives, like they say like the people who are our counterparts, they use it in a bad way. That okay, progression is a bad thing,
like it's
but
a
no,
rebellion. They're saying it as if it's
no, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, like our prison system needs to be reformed.
I mean all of the candidates should be progressing in some way from what's going on. The candidates, you know.
Yeah, but you have. I mean,
sorry.
You have to rebel. It's a rebellion against that. Because even if I speak about it, that's the way that I speak about the children and the prison reform, or this prison school to prison pipeline, or the cradle to prison pipeline. It's a rebellious thing. So I feel like the progression, the way that they're using it, is probably in the right way, where she's going and she's rebelling. Even her just existing in that race is a rebellion. So it's like... It has to be something you have to be negative to destroy whatever it is that they believe is to be positive. So it is a negative act.
I get what you're saying.
Of it not being just a completely bad thing, but you have to go in there and kind of like knock walls down, and that's a negative thing when you're taken away. Right. So that's probably what they're saying by like it being a rebellious thing. But I mean, I love people that rebel. Like us doing this is a rebellion. Yeah. So,
And then I wanted to comment on the $1.5 million donated for people like listening. That just is a testament to, if you're doing something really true and genuine, people will pour into, you know, what they believe that you're doing. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like she's just going to nonstop get more and more donations, because she's genuine, you know, in her race too.
Exactly. And that's what we need.
Yeah.
I just think people are tired of the landscape of the current climate of this country, you know? Yeah. So... Also, we have Stacey Abrams. So last Tuesday, she won the Democratic nomination for governor of Georgia with over 75% of the vote.
Okay, Black Girl Magic.
Yes, come through Black Girl Magic. So if she wins, she'll be the first Black woman to be governor in U.S. history. Wow. So that's a pretty big deal. That is. And the fact that this is in the South too. So they're like, she has the potential, to turn Georgia into a blue state. So that's what they're currently talking about. But she served in the Georgia House for 10 years. Like I said, it's gonna get national attention though, because it's a big deal. Yeah. And just the fact, we even talked about that too. In Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottom, she had won she won mayor. She's the mayor now. And I think it's really a testament, and it really speaks to how the demographics are changing. Like, I guess
a lot more women,
Black women, who are voting. But especially in Georgia, they have mentioned that the demographics are definitely changing. So I'm really, really excited just to keep up with this and see how this is going to play out in November. And then also we have Jemele Hill. She has been named the 2018 Journalist of the Year for the National Association of Black Journalists. So This association, they have praised Jamil for addressing national, social, and cultural issues on her platform, including, of course, racism, police brutality, the NFL protests. She has been very vocal about that. So they've decided to name her Journalist of the Year. She has called it one of the biggest accomplishments of her, actually the biggest accomplishment of her career. So she will be receiving that award on August the 4th in her hometown of Detroit. So
that's awesome.
yeah, so definitely shout out to her.
So what do y'all think about the NFL protests?
I'm glad you brought that up. So I feel like it's I was very disappointed. I'm not surprised, but I just feel like I always feel like we're going backwards in history. Like, who are you to tell somebody that they cannot do something? It's like you're trying to force this patriotism on people. And I think you're missing the whole point. Even with the whole Starbucks thing. Like, the issue is not the bathrooms. The issue is racism. That's what made old girl call the police. You know, it's her racism. Them kneeling, that has nothing to do with wanting to disrespect soldiers or not wanting to respect the flag. The point is to bring attention to the fact that, number one, I'm not going to sit over here and pledge allegiance to a country that doesn't pledge allegiance to me. Like, we have a group of people who are sitting over here dying under a flag. We have been dying underneath this flag, you know, for years. And you want us to walk around and act like we don't know what's going on or to pretend like it's not happening, but it is. So you can't, I mean, whatever, they're going to do whatever they want to do. It's their organization. But I just feel very sad at the fact that I wish that more players would speak out. I wish that more players would realize that there is no NFL without y'all. So,
I mean, it has to get to a point where, like, even what we talked about last week, like, we need our own things. And you have to get to a point where a lot of these players are probably sitting side by side having these conversations. Like, I put up a post the other day or, like, earlier last week, and it was just like, we have to stop joking or talking about the negatives of our culture or our community amongst other people of different races that are non-black. We have to stop doing that, and I feel like a lot of that is going on. So you can't sit with me and tell me, oh, well, Trayvon Martin probably deserved to die, and then go on the field and kneel. So I feel like you're a part of their group where you have to abide by their rules. But what needs to happen is they need to step away from it, because the moment that because even when I was talking to Charles last week, like, yeah, we can preach love and understanding and everything, but the moment where you're showing so much love and they have an ounce of fear, you die. You become a victim of their fear, which only lasted for 2 seconds, but your whole life you've been trying to preach love and we should be together and all of this. But it's like we need to detach and get to a point where it's not that we're giving to the NFL or we're the NFL. Realize that you are the athletes that they're looking for. You can go and create that on your own, but I think it's a real thing where you're sitting with these people all the time and you're addressing the negatives in your community and culture, but then you want to get on a mass scale and kneel. So it's like, it's a contradiction. So we, want to come for the NFL, but it's like, people are only gonna treat you the way that you're allowing them to treat you. So if you're allowing them to sit up here and tell you that no, you cannot speak up against the people that look just like you that are being killed, if they're saying, all right, cool, you giving me this money, I'm gonna sign this check and I'm good, we can't argue that. Now we can come as a community and go, yo, y'all need to get together, and we can be mad at them, but it's like, that's their stuff, and it's wrong, it's completely wrong, but that's just, that's they're white people, and we expect those things from
and that's their
white
space
people.
But I think we have to decide, do we want to be in that space? And I think a lot of the times, though, I think a lot of it is because of the money.
It's because nobody wants to say, like, hey, I'm gonna speak out, and, like, I might not have this income coming in anymore, but nobody wants to take that leap of faith.
There's so many other avenues of money at this point in time. So to me, it's just like, if all of y'all leave, all of y'all can create an
there is no NFL without black. Y'all make up 70% of the NFL.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But then it's the brands. And it's like, we make up 70%, but who's the influence and who's the impact? Who's 70% of the impact that is making the the NFL run. It's white people. They call all of the shots.
Exactly.
You're just a slave in this thing. You just happen to get money.
Right.
Yeah.
We moving you're the face of it, but we're behind it, moving you like puppets.
Yeah, exactly.
And didn't somebody even allude to that? Like, when they were back last year, when they had the whole controversy, one of the team owners had kind of made, it was kind of like an analogy that he made about the prison.
Trade.
It was something about either the slave trade or something about like prisoners or something like of that extent. I don't remember verbatim, forgive me. But I was like, even in them making comments like that, just lets them know that they don't care about you.
Right.
You just go out there, you play the game, and you shut up. You know,
Right.
because at the end of the day, you're making me money.
Exactly.
Nobody
We're gonna have
cares.
to go on break, but I guess maybe we can continue when we come back with our guests. But yeah, this is QTG. We're at the Hub Radio. Listen to these commercials for the next couple minutes, and we'll be back.
Yes.
The Hub.
What up, y'all? It's C Blue here. I'm about to do this challenge for y'all. Y'all check me out. Come on. Let me tell you a little something about my city. Sippy T, Dr. Dre, easy done it in my city. Ruthless, DJ Quick, but you fucky in my city tonight. King Luther got it thumping in my city. Alright, I'm about to drop that blue magic in my city. Yeah, huh? They cupping up a mic, cracking in my city. JV, Hub City Radio, the first to play me, yo. We on the up and up, we do it by committee. On the way, I'm truly just a newbie in my city. Youngin, you can't say you never knew me in my city. It's my duty just to do it for my city. Yeah, I'm representing all the beauty in my city. Inspired by the black man of my city. Cause what I do is really rare for my city. Best believe I'm about the fresh air for my city. And I will make them all aware of my city. Compton, 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 Compton.
Look, life on the edge, get a grip. Know that they want me to slip. Hustle with something to quit. Ain't no pitched out.
Should stop building sandcastles, cause it always feels like the current is coming in. Oh yeah, lately it's been tough trying to get past you. Should've listened when you told me that it's the end. Oh yeah, maybe I should spend more time hanging with the friends that I came with, cause I can't quit thinking about you, no. Baby, I spend all my life trying to build what's right in front of me. Oh, how dumb of me. Cause now the waves are coming in to wash my love away, and then I'll build it up again. Oh yeah, this time I hope you'll stay. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Dun 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 dun. See you all the time, ay. Memories in my mind, ay. You say you need a break, I say I can't relate. Saw you down on 10th Street, you act like you don't miss me. I thought I had your heart, now it's tearing me apart. Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe I should spend more time hanging with the friends that I came with, cause I can't quit thinking about you, no. Maybe I don't waste all my life trying to be what's right in front of me. Oh, how dumb of me. Cause now the waves are coming in to wash my love away, and then I'll build it up again. Oh yeah, this time I hope you'll stay. Cause now the waves are coming in to wash my love away, land and I build it up again. Oh yeah, this time I hope you'll stay. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Hey, we're back.
We're back. Hello.
We're back. This is QTT. If you're just now tuning in, I want to give a special shout out to the honey. We can't fan to him, but he's in the building right now.
Come through, Black Love.
For
Yes.
our last show, so I gotta give a shout out to the Bay.
Yes. Hello, Bay. Hello, hello. All right, you guys. Welcome back to Queen's Table Talk here on the Hub Radio. We have special guest Nzinga Kalila here in the building with us. For those of you who do not know, she's a saxophonist. Beautiful. Plays the saxophone beautifully. Oh, my goodness. But I'm so happy that you're here to talk with us about all that you do, all that you're doing, and how you're translating your knowledge, you know, and how you're translating that into your music. So, by all means, the floor is yours. Give us who you are, what you do.
Wow. Well, I originally used to call myself a bebop saxophonist because I was in that, that box. But I'm a saxophonist. I play everything, and I'm slowly learning everything because it was originally just jazz, then it became R&B, then blues, and I'm just trying to master everything because I think it's so important as a musician as a black musician, to understand all black music. So, can you hear me? Yeah. So I started music when I was 9, but I always had a love for jazz because my mom would always play, John Coltrane, Oliver Nelson, and not just jazz, but all different types of music. It would be like wide ranging, like Bobby McFerrin, Rochelle Farrell, just all different types of music to put in my ears so that I could really understand how great this music is. And so I think it wasn't really until I was 13 that I wanted to pursue music professionally. And I had been playing the clarinet for 4 years, concert band clarinet, because I had liked playing in the band and the way the tunes sounded. And it wasn't really again until I was 13 that I was like, I want to play an instrument. I want to have a career with this. So it went from being in music camps to having teachers, to having private teachers, to being in workshops, to really having a serious devotion to learning jazz music. And I think I reached a pivotal point when I decided on my own that I didn't want to go to my neighborhood high school. I had been bullied, and I didn't fit in anyway because I was so different. So I said, I told my mom I really want to go to Philadelphia High School of Creative Performing Arts. And she said, okay, let's make this happen, because she was always supporting me. So I attended, and there in Philly, I just was able to surround myself around so many amazing teachers. I mean, if I could just name a few: Will Wright, Terrence Brown, Tony Maselli, Lovett Hines, Justin Faulkner. Like the list goes on of amazing musicians that took their time out to educate me. I would have an hour lesson, but they would take out 2 or 3 hours because they really wanted to teach me the music, because it wasn't just teaching someone, it was teaching this young black girl about her own music that she needed to be the messenger for. So it wasn't, I guess I was so hungry about the music that it wasn't enough for me being in Creative and Performing Arts High School. It was a great experience and exposed me to different music, but around my 3rd year, I really had to make the decision and say, I want a more serious devotion. And I chose to get homeschooled my last year, and because I needed more time to practice my music and really get ready for college auditions. So I did that, and I attended William Patterson University, where I had the opportunity to study with the great Vincent Herring for 4 years, and Harold Mayburn, Marcus McLaurin, just a number of great musicians, East Coast musicians. By the way, William Patterson is in Wayne, New Jersey, East Coast. So after that, I decided to get my master's, and I think at that point I was sort of jaded by school, because you would think that going to school for jazz, you know, you're really learning about jazz, but there's always, being taught by white teachers, there's always that element of racism and that element of prejudice and xenophobia. So it was hard, because being in a jazz program, ironically, I was one of very few black people. So, and I was the only black girl instrumentalist around like a whole bunch of white guys. So it was hard, because I was very outspoken about race and about who created jazz and who created this music and that music, and basically we create all the music. So it really, it was just hard being in a program and being so strongly myself, but really having to interact with everyone and I guess conform to their idea of what my music was, my people's music was. So I would say that after the 4 years I was jaded, but I was also still hungry about really educating myself. And I said, if I'm going to go to a grad program, it has to be a program that does the music right and that also really educates me. And I chose Berklee Global Jazz Institute, which was an intensive program, because I would say it really immersed me in the music, and I had the opportunity to study with people like Terry Lynn Carrington, Daniela Perez, and they served not only as teachers but mentors, and really supported my my aesthetic, which was jazz with intersectionality of race and politics, and just always maintaining a general truth about everything, because I think it's important as a musician, as an artist, to to not just play the music, but to really have a perspective about the history of it, because especially with jazz music, black musicians were creating this music, but they were dealing with white cops that were trying to beat up on them. They were dealing with racism. They were dealing with having their cabaret cards taken away for minor offenses. They were dealing with so much, and yet they still created this ingenious music. So I would say the mentors that I had really helped me to interpret that, and also showed me that I have a lot of growing to do in terms of really learning about my music. And I graduated in 2016. Sorry, not 2016, 2017. And it just humbled me. So now that I'm in the real world, you know, being a musician, I'm just trying to educate myself and also expound on my musical aesthetic.
How do you feel like you stay true to yourself being in those spaces? Because you said that you did, that you talked about intersectionality of race in politics when it came to the jazz world. So with you being in that space where you're the only black woman, how do you feel like you were able to convey your message and still be authentic to yourself in that space?
Well, you know what, I had to admit, there were a lot of times that I lost myself. Like, I was in a sunken place. Like, I really wanted to fit in, and, you know, I was like, appropriate me, like, let me, like, gentrify me, like, let me fit in so that I cannot feel this pain of feeling like you're, you know, not respecting me and not understanding my genius, you know. So it was hard because, you know, when you don't have your family around you, when you don't have black people around you, you can easily fall into that.
Yeah. Kanye.
So, yes, like it's understandable. It's like but I just had to always get back to, you know, whether it was seeing some, you know, Michael Eric Dyson video, or whether it was reading something from Cornel West, or whatever I needed to get back to myself, talking to my mom, you know, it was just getting out, then always getting back in. And I'd say I have a grasp on that, and it's just really, it's really reading. It's reading and just always making sure that you have people around you that are saying, hey, that didn't really make sense, or you know, you may really be trying to be a little bit fitting in with the white norm because you're uncomfortable with being who you are. So,
What would you say is your biggest takeaway as a Black female, like in those spaces, or going through that, being a Black woman, and then going through that, like you explained, the gentrification of yourself, and then coming now to a point where you're like, it is important for me to have my roots still. Like, what would be your biggest takeaway going through those things?
My biggest takeaway is that I have to make a difference, in that I have to, when I reach, I guess you could say, the apotheosis of my intelligence and my understanding of Blackness, I need to be a mentor and a teacher to other young Black women, because I had my mom, but I didn't really have much Black women who were supporting me, you know, and who were saying, you know, it's okay, and you know, just always putting me in check. I mean, in terms of like friends, I had that, but I'm talking about an older woman or someone who is wiser, who is always instilling her wisdom to someone who hasn't been through that and may at times feel lost. So I think it's important to be a mentor, to be a teacher to other Black women.
Right.
Did you go through any type of like disdain towards those people that you were around at any point in time, where you realized that because they didn't understand your genius that you had to like shift, but when you realized that it was them not understanding your genius because of the color of your skin, did you ever like go through some type of like hatred or dislike for the people that you were around all the time?
Oh yeah, like I mean, those white boys, I wanted to kill them sometimes, because I felt like not only were they not respecting me, they were trying to diminish me. They were trying to really, I guess you could say, make me destruct, because it was too intimidating to them, and I was a threat, because knowledge is such a threat. So there was a point when I was in my jazz history class in school, and the teacher was just saying the craziest stuff about Black jazz musicians, and I was just sitting in class.
Like what? What did he say?
Oh, he was like, one thing he said was about John Coltrane, the amazing jazz saxophonist John Coltrane, that he was, when he did My Favorite Things, which is a jazz composition where it's taken, you know, from I forget the melody. What is it? My Favorite Things, but he revamps the melody. It's My Favorite Things, but he revamps it in a way where it's genius. And my teacher had said that, because I was talking about cultural appropriation and how white musicians had culturally appropriated Black musicians' music when it had, you know, around the late 19th century to the early 20th century when jazz was being created. And he had said, well, John Coltrane appropriated My Favorite Things, like a joke. And I said, this isn't a joking matter, Professor. Like, you are not only a jokester, you're really uneducated about Black music and about the history.
And this is a jazz history class.
Right.
Right.
But it was just whenever they would talk about musicians like Miles Davis, his I don't want to say anger. I hate the word anger. His defiance. They defined it as, for him, he defined it as anger. And Charles Mingus, his defiance, he defined it as anger, and just these black musicians were just bombs waiting to self-destruct, and they abused drugs and just one-dimensional things about them when there are so many levels to who they were. So it was really hard because I wouldn't let him, I wouldn't let him talk about the music that way. So, I mean, there are instances like that where I had a verbal fight with teachers, and where I couldn't associate with the students anymore, to where I would just be like practicing in my room, and I didn't even come around the facility because the energy was just too toxic for me.
So
But,
I wanted to,
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
go
going
ahead.
on that tank.
Okay, good. I wanted, because Mo brought up Kanye, so I wanted to see, can you understand how something like that can happen if you don't make it out the transition that you went through, where how you can seem to us to fall short, even if your goal is to bring out this history or help, a culture, but then if you somehow, because not everybody is strong enough to make it out of that thing where they were in somewhere for 4 to 7 years, where there just wasn't anybody that looked like them, but they wanted to stay true to bringing out that information. You can get so lost, or you can fall in the ditch and just not come out of the ditch. So would you understand how someone like Kanye could be in that transition, or maybe not at the point where you are, where you came out of it, but transitioning through that?
Yeah, because it was around I'd say my freshman year, the Sunken Place happened so quick because I was in my first relationship with a guy who basically was white, and was, I would talk with my mom, and every black girl has her way of speaking, and she can talk as clear as possible, but you still know she's a sister. You still know, I hope if everyone who is listening, you still know I'm a black girl, because I still have that, that movement with my voice, that articulation, everything, because I'm always going to maintain that. That's who I am, and I feel like every black girl has that. But we get in these situations where we slowly, our voice changes, and slowly our mannerisms change, and what we think and what we do, and that was happening to me. And it was my mom who said, you don't even sound like you anymore. Like, why are you doing this? And why are you, and I didn't even really realize it. So it also took my friends clowning me like, girl, why are you doing that? So it was but it was just like Kanye, because I really thought I was myself. And I really thought that I was doing great for my people, and just so smart. And it really just took people checking me. But yes, I can understand that. But here's the thing. There has to be an innate want to always love your people and always do for your people. And if that isn't there, then you'll be forever in the sunken place.
Right. Agreed.
So I have a question about your music. So what kind of style would you say you're right now? Because you said you kind of evolved, as you were growing a hunger and a love for your music more and more. So what kind of style of jazz would you say you're kind of right now in your life?
Wow, I'd say I'm like the people I've been playing with. I'm now R&B, hip hop, experimental, free jazz. I'm just like, it was challenging at first, because I said, I can't do this. I'm just too bebop. I can't. But it's, playing Chris Brown songs, playing what was BED? Jackass? Is that my friend? Jacquees? Yeah, oh my gosh. See, I'm still new. But, or whether it's like the new J. Cole album, just like jamming to that, it's like, it's okay for me, because I'm still in the vein of black music. Whereas also with the whole Sunken Place, I was taught that I had to just play jazz because that was the only smart music.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like when you first started, were you just very structured with your music? Like very, you know, I'm just gonna play like, I don't even know like what the terms are, but you know what I mean? Like
and the changes.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, it was all that, because I would have teachers that would say, "Oh, rap and hip hop and everything," and I believed that until I really listened to rap and hip hop, and that it's not just one artist. You need to really listen to the whole range of rap and hip hop and understand that there are some really amazing artists. There's Immortal Technique. Like you have to branch out and recognize that just like jazz, there's some bad jazz. There's some really not so good jazz, and where the artists are like, you're thinking, what are they doing? So it goes both ways, but
I have a question for you, because I mean, you mentioned that there being bad jazz. Something I've always been really interested in is how do you create meaning when it's just sound and you're not actually writing down words? Because I've listened to your SoundCloud, and you have one that's dedicated. You have a song that's dedicated to Barack Obama, and how do you create that meaning?
Well, can we come back with that question?
Yes.
Because we have to go on a break, but we'll be back with our guest, and we will let the commercials run for about 5 minutes.
Yes.
Hey, this is Faye, and you're watching Mac and Cheese on Track Killers TV. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Did you wanna see me broken? I got that mac and cheese that'll bring it down to your knees. I got that stuffing too, make you wanna call me your boo. Grease popping in the frying pan, you a breast or a thigh man. I know you hate to wait, let me go ahead get you a plate. But what you bringing to the table? What you bringing to the table? You ain't making enough greens, then at least be grateful. What you bringing to the table? What you bringing to the table? Can't make dessert, don't desert me, at least stay faithful. You got that tofu, thought it was soul food. Thought you was so cool, damn I was so fooled. Following your rules. You got that easy bag, juvenile, cheap and fake. Taking to-go plates from bitches in your face. Got bitches in your place. You ran out of substance, I have an abundance. I made an assumption this could be something, but this shit ain't nothing. I don't do fast food, thought it would last, boo. You just like the last dude, tryna ride through like I am a drive-through, like you could just slide through. Let me remind you what I'm bringing to the table. What I'm bringing to the table. You ain't making enough greens, and at least be grateful. What you bringing to the table? What you bringing to the table? Can't make dessert, don't desert me, at least stay faithful.
Was born, but at least we got to say we ran on the digit, we ran on the money, we ran on the digit, we ran on that money, we ran on the digit, we ran on the money. We ran on the digit, we ran on the money, we ran on the digit, we ran on some money.
Allow me to give you something to think about. Not everything that comes out of Compton is bad. I mean, we have Dr. Dre, The Game, Kendrick Lamar, Venus and Serena Williams, that little girl with the dream, Maya Aja Brown. P. Diddy couldn't have said it better. This is the fairy tale, man. And fairy tales do come true, because we got millions of cats that are coming up with that hustling spirit and drive. They got that mention in it, that drive. Bill Lyons had that drive to overcome all obstacles. Bill Lyons isn't just a clothing line or just a brand. It's a movement. Bill Lyons is Compton. Compton is Bill Lyons. Respect the perspective. Bill Lyons.
Coco's Lip Smacking Cupcakes offers custom cakes and cupcakes
if you
for
are
every
just now
occasion.
tuning in, we have, I'm so sorry, I don't want to mess up your name. Nzinga Kalila.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes. The fabulous saxophone player. So we're gonna have her actually we're gonna go to your question.
Yes, my question.
Your question.
Was how do you create meaning with it just being music, without it being lyrics?
Well, that's an interesting question because that's what I've been exploring now. With I'm working on my first album, and every little snippet, musical idea that I hear, I record it or I write it down because I have been thinking about that. But when I was getting my master's, I was really introduced to that idea through Danilo Perez, who really has this whole idea of integrating the voice with the instrument, meaning that how do you play the horn but also sound like you're conversing with someone, as opposed to just being disjointed, like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. Like, you don't do that in normal conversation. Like, when we're talking, we're flowing, and so the same needs to happen with your instrument, the same needs to happen with your music. It needs to be a conversation and a story that you're telling everyone. So we would have projects where we would have to talk, and then along with that talking, we would have to form our instrument to how our voice sounded, to where we were transcribing our voice. So it was just doing stuff like that, or creating. We would have to pick a movie scene, and we would mute the original sound, and we would have to create our own soundtrack over that using just our instrument. And so it's things like that that really helped me explore what is lyricism, and that if I'm not having lyrics with my music, then what I'm playing needs to be as lyrical as possible, to where you're feeling emotion through it. But also, I found that with my music, I want to have lyrics, and I think that's what happened when I was at Berkeley. I learned that I can have lyrics to my music, and it can really convey the message, because I think that's important. That's what everyone refers to when they refer to a song as the lyrics, and with jazz standards as well, the lyrics were the lyrics for jazz standards, they were so deep. And so an artist that can have deep lyrics and can have deep poetry, it is really a testament to how they're conveying their music.
So do you write your own lyrics to all of your songs?
Well, I'm starting to do that for all my songs, because I originally just had melody, but I'm coming back to them and really seeing what was I trying to convey, and how can I put that in lyric, and also how can I do justice to the song as well. You have to think about the song, you have to think about who's listening to the song, so many elements.
I think that also shows about your artistry, honestly, the passion, just with you talking, like you can just tell how passionate you are. So I think that just kind of shows through your music, going back to your question, like, because I mean, before you even play, like, I can already tell it's going to be dope, because just the way you talk about your craft, so good job with that. I can say, like, the way you articulate yourself about your craft is very well thought out, and you can tell that you just are educated on your craft. So you're amazing.
Thank you.
Black Girl
Thank you for having me, guys.
For real. This is Black Girl Magic.
Yes, real life. Black
and
Girl
I see
Magic.
you have your saxophone. So what will you be playing for us today?
Well, I guess
I'm really excited about this.
I'll be playing meditations on a song that I already wrote that I'll likely have on my album, but it's more so a song that I feel encompasses melanin and being black, and just the trials and tribulations of being black. And originally stemmed from my mom, who's a writer. She wrote a book called The Polka Dot Tragedy, and she wanted me to do a soundtrack. We never finished it, but I wrote one song for her, and it was called Polka Dotted Tragedy, and this is just some meditations on it.
Oh,
so, yeah.
through. Come through. I'm here for this.
I was getting tired watching. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I was like, dang, is she tired? I'm tired just watching.
For real. That was really good. So let me ask you this question, okay? So what would you say is your best performance that you've done so far?
Well,
the most memorable.
I'd say when I was performing this song, because I haven't revisited the lyricism of this song as much, but when I was really into this song, like when I was having to play it so much, I really found all the nooks and crannies of it, if that makes sense. I really found all the dimensions of it. So there was just a point where I was at Berkeley, and I was just assured of my blackness, and I was feeling great that day, and I just remember just playing with people who I really enjoyed playing with, and just all that great energy. Just I felt like I was playing at my best. I was really in the element.
Oh, yes. That's so good. Well, I truly, truly, truly thank you for coming to sit with us and sharing your gift, sharing your talent, and sharing your honesty, too. Yes. You know, about really, no, I really mean that. Like, because you don't really hear a lot of black people who are open and honest about the fact that, you know, yes, I was in a sunken place, and yes, this is what I went through because I was in this space, but this is how I overcame being in that space and still staying true to myself. So yes. I do respect you for that, and I'm glad
you made it out.
We're glad you made it out, girl. You over here sitting with the queens, okay?
Yes.
Come on, queen.
To be around this melanin, you guys are blessing me. So
thank you. Yes, queens, uplifting queen. I'm here for this. I'm here for all of it, okay? Well, thank you so much for coming. Tell us how we can find you, how we can keep up with you.
Gosh. So I'm on Instagram, Nzinga Kalila. And
spell that for the people who don't know.
NZINGA_KALILAH. And I'm also on SoundCloud, Nzinga Banks. That's my last name. Kalila is my middle name. And I'm just besides. I have June 1st. I'm part of the band that's backing the amazing dynamic vocalist Deja Human.
Yes.
Deja Human. Follow her. She's amazing. Dynamic. So working with some West Coast musicians, and I'm just loving their energy. So besides working on my album and my own music, I'm in August. I was so fortunate. A lot of great mentors and friends of mine raised the funds so that I could go to this workshop in Canada called the Banff Workshop, which has really taught a lot of great musicians and amazing drummer Tyshawn Sori and pianist Vijay Iyer are teaching it. So I'm really fortunate to attend that in August. I recently did a performance at the Met, and I'm just trying to get more stuff going. So
yeah. We'll definitely keep up with you. Shout out to you and all that you are doing. Black Girl Magic, come through. So on that note, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Don't let me get too comfortable. Don't let me get too comfortable. I know, my friend, you are a blessing, but I'm not guessing you'll wreck my whole life. I already know your type. I'm guessing you want my blessing, but baby, I'm not that guy. Either way, I'm not gonna do the things I used to do. I'm not trying to get too comfortable. I just want a friend until the end. We ain't even gotta do that other shit. We can ride a bike or play air hockey on the side. Maybe get a drink, but girl, I don't wanna be between those thighs. I know that you're beautiful, you know that you're beautiful. So maybe, baby, we shouldn't get too comfortable. Think about it, I know you want it, yeah, girl, I want you to. But right now, baby, I just cannot do that to you. Blessing, blessing, but I'm not guessing, guessing. All life, I already know your type. I'm guessing, guessing. You want my blessing, blessing, but baby, I'm not that guy. Blessing, blessing, but I'm not guessing, guessing. You're like my whole life. I already know your type. I'm guessing, guessing. You want my blessing, blessing, but baby, I'm not that guy. I know that you're beautiful. You know that you're beautiful. I know that you're beautiful. You know that you're beautiful. But I promise I'm not your blessing.
Yo, Alex.
Hey, what's up, Tato?
Y'all coming through Saturday, right?
Come on, man. You know I wouldn't miss that for the world.
I've been hanging with my kids, just chilling, man. I'm living like a father. All my brothers that can relate to me, man. Shout out my real fathers. Take care of your kids, even if you cannot work it out with baby mama. Working 9 to 5, hustling, so you never see your kids starve. Changing diapers, making bottles, feeding your kids, that's a real father. If you ain't called your kids in a couple days, man, you not a real father.
Yeah, real fathers.
Miss me with that bullshit. You ain't really wild, you a tourist. I be blacking out with the purist. I paid 100,000, I freaked it. I paid 500,000, I freaked it. I bought an 87 for the weekend. This ain't what you want, this ain't what you want. This ain't what you want, this ain't what you want.
And it's like that look. MVP, I don't get no sleep, no, I don't like that look. Bust that open, I want that ocean, yeah, that bite back look. Do it, bite back look. Need 2 life jacks look. I ain't gon' hold you, I ain't gon' pressure, never control you. I ain't gon' front you, keep it 100, I don't know you. Boss like Top Dog, boss my life up, crossing over. Started stepping, got a Hall of Fame and all my poster. I've been ready, my whip been ready, my been ready, my click been ready, my checks been ready, my shots on full, that's Armageddon. I got pulled, I hope y'all ready, my tank on full, you know unleaded. I gotta go get it, I gotta go get it, I gotta go get it, I gotta go.
Everybody gonna try.
Girl, all the rich niggas, all the rich niggas, they want her. All the rich niggas want her.
Everybody gonna try.
Girl, all the rich niggas, girl, all the rich niggas, girl, all the rich niggas, they want you. Girl, all the rich niggas, all the
We're back on the Hub Radio. You are tuned in now to Queen's Table Talk. Hopefully you're not just tuning in because we just had an amazing saxophonist.
Right. Are really rocking with us out there?
Yes.
So we're gonna get into this video. Okay, so let me tell you a little backstory about this video. So somebody sent this to me, and the person that sent it to me was a guy, and I was looking at it right, and the first I was looking at the video is like 30 minutes long. Okay, so is this pastor? His name is Dr. Matthew Stevenson. So he sent this to me. Apparently he has this this series called The Honor Code, and this sermon was about honoring women. So initially when I heard it, I was like, okay, well, you know, he's talking about, you know, women encouraging them, like, you know, to find their calling and to, you know, find somebody who respects their calling, what have you, whatever. Right. And then so I kind of felt like it went into left field. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping, because I really had a lot to say about this. So we're going to play this, and I really want y'all to let me know how y'all feel about this, okay? Because I was very uneasy about this. So let's get into this.
Be diligent as a woman. Now, female diligence looks different from male diligence, but you need a career. Oh, y'all don't like this gospel. I said you need a career. I'm not talking, and listen, you can be a professional housewife. I know y'all don't like that gospel, but you can be a professional housewife. There is a way to learn house management work professionally. That is a career. You just got to be good at it. Now, I think there's a lot of women who have a dream of coming off the job. And sometimes that makes for great women. But my opinion is you ought to be able to work until coming off your job is necessary. And until then, you got to get a job. And here's why. Woo-wee, Lord, help me today. I just wish I could bat my eyes and go to World Changing. They don't want to talk to me. I said, you need a job. If for now, and your job is not for provision. It's for complementary. You see how that works? Now, here's what a job does for a woman. It gives them a series of skills to stabilize the coming days. You see, if you wake up whenever you want to wake up, cook whenever you want to cook, decide your own stuff, then when you come into a level of responsibility, you're not going to manage that house right. Paul called women managers of a home. And it is very unlikely that a woman with no professional experience is going to manage a home well. If you don't believe me, go in their house. Socks everywhere, panties everywhere, running out of tissue everywhere, barely you got that old can of Vienna sausage. Now listen, and some of you think you're going to get it together when you get married. No, I ought to be able to look in your house as an unmarried woman and determine what type of man can come in there and reign. Y'all don't want to help me. You better make that bed up. What's wrong with y'all? Why you got these iron and these cleaners around here? What we need is women who are preparing for marriage, not just a wedding. Can't cook, still boiling noodles. The dress size changes annually. You are not prepared for pregnancy. My God. Glory to God. You owe yourself the responsibility of making yourself something to look at. Why won't y'all say amen? Because when you don't do that, then you blame men for being shallow when that's not how men are. God created us to look. Don't blame us if what we're looking at bores us. Shout hallelujah. Come on, sister, get yourself together. Every hairstyle don't work for you. Every color don't do good for you. Put on some heels sometime. You ought not smell like you just came off a football field. I can't get no help in here. I want a woman. Why won't y'all say amen today? You got to smell like something. Glory to God. You want to have a little lotion on their ankles. Praise God. Men are shallow. There is a revival, John, of womanhood. I'd enjoy coming home. Ladies, I'm serious. You need to be rebuked. If you're going to wear the wig, change it. At least when it gets raggedy. I'm coming in here today. Find some help somewhere. Google you somebody. There used to be a day when the only folk that wore wigs was in their 70s. Now y'all 19, pucking them all, and you ain't even got enough decency to comb it. If you're going to wear it, let it work for you. But don't get mad when a brother walks past you because you look like you begging for money. The devil is a lie. Get pretty. Stop somebody say get pretty. I ain't talking about no complexion. It's some people that like big women, small women, yellow women. We life. You just got to get it together. Get a girdle. Get a waist trainer. Find some heels. Take some classes. But be a woman for God's sake. Shout hallelujah.
So that's what was sent to me. What do y'all think about that? I'm going to start with you because you're looking like you want to say something.
Why are you starting with me? Okay.
I'm going to start with you.
I don't have nothing to say. No, I got a whole lot to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, so part of what he's saying, I can understand what he's saying about, you know, women being the managers of the home. That is true. But I also feel like there's so much emphasis put on the women looking nice and the woman doing X, Y, and Z, but we never look at the man. Like, we've talked about this before. Michelle Obama talked about we need to stop putting so much pressure on our girls and also look at our boys. I can understand what he's saying about, you know, looking like something, but the woman is not made just to be looked at. But if you're going to say that about the woman, say that about the man too. I want to see a man that has a nice haircut, clean cut, but that's not all that matters. You know what I mean? And then about the household, I mean, just as much as if you look at a woman's house, you know, you got to also look at the man's house to see if y'all going to match up. Like, do y'all both make up your beds? Do you guys both not, you know, wash the dishes or X, Y, and Z? I can see what he's saying on that sense. But as far as you need to make sure your weave looks good, you need to make sure that you put some lotion on your ankles and all that kind of stuff. First of all, if my ankles are ashy one day, don't judge me, okay? Maybe I'm having a rough day. Second of all, dude, did you look at your ankles? Did you look at what you got going on? So that's my biggest thing. Like, I see the household as being a partnership. I mean, yes, the man is the head, but it's more so a partnership. It shouldn't just always be left at what does the woman look like. Because we want to look at something too sometimes. We don't want to just see a raggedy man. You know what I'm saying? But for him to just kind of like go on and on about this, and then I wish he would have had, like, maybe it would have helped him if he had a woman and say kind of like, okay, but this is what the women want too. Like some kind of balance, because a man just going saying this is, it kind of looks like
well, it was only 5 minutes.
Male chauvinist. I'm just saying. Was there a woman up here?
No.
So that's what I'm saying.
I know, but it was only, I mean, targeted.
I get what you're saying, but I just feel like he just went so hard, and he should have kind of went on the other side and said, like, okay, man, but I also got to touch base on you and say, you know, y'all need to make sure you guys are looking right too. But I mean, yes, you should be a woman who a man wants to potentially marry, but I don't think that you should neglect the man that also needs to be the head of the household too. So that's just how I feel about it. I feel like you should be a woman of God, but it's up to whoever, you know, that feels what that looks like. Go ahead.
What do you have to say about it?
I wasn't here for it at all. Like, I was actually really into the message, like the first 20 minutes of it when he was talking. Because like I said, he was talking about like women and like in their calling and finding their calling and whatnot. And then I was like, what are you talking about? This whole sermon just went left. And it takes me back to just my feeling just about male preachers. Number one, I don't like male preachers preaching about womanhood. You're a man. You cannot tell me how to be a woman. You can't tell me how to conduct myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You tell me where it is in the Bible that it says that I'm supposed to cook, where I'm supposed to wear heels, where I'm supposed to make sure that, you know, I look good 24/7. Like, you tell me where in the Bible is that supported? Because if you go back and listen to it, a lot of that stuff that he said, he was like, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. Like, no, I didn't come to church to listen to your opinion. I don't come to church to listen to nobody's opinion, especially not your misogynistic opinion. And I'm not here for that. And literally from when I was a child, I can always recall hearing sermons about how women should act and how women should prepare themselves to be wives and how we should act a certain way, we should conduct ourselves a certain way, we should be classy, we should be women. And there's so much emphasis upon how we act, but I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, because there probably are some sermons out there, but in my whole 25 years, I have not ever heard a sermon of a pastor going in upon men the same way they go in upon men.
You don't think so?
I have not heard it.
Yeah.
how they talk about the man is supposed to. I mean, the infidel. You're worse off than an infidel if you don't take care of your family. You ever heard that message?
I've heard that. I've heard that in biblical terms, like as far as like reading the scripture and reading the word.
But they've never preached a message on that. But we gotta check the churches that we go to.
Not going in like that.
I've heard like a man should just be as prepared as a woman is for marriage. Like a man needs to be prepared for marriage too. I've heard something like that. So this, I mean, that's why I was like,
and I'm like, this right here, I'm not here for this at all. And just the fact that your dress size changes annually.
Yeah,
where is this coming from? Like, who are you?
Like, then he said there's women for every man of every
flavor. Yeah, and men are not shallow. But I'm gonna do everything that you're saying to me is a contradiction because then you're saying that it's our responsibility to make sure that we're something to look at because men are visual creatures, but men are not shallow. But you need to make sure that you put on a waist trainer, put on a girdle, make sure your wig is laid, make sure your wig is plucked, make sure so what are you really trying to say?
I mean, but you. So for me, I feel like I was just raised in a very different persuasion. I bring this up all the time. My grandparents are, one is from Mississippi and one is like 5th generation Church of God in Christ. So that's how we were. So I don't agree with him coming up. Like you said, you have YWCC, the Young Women's Christian Council, where you can discuss those things. All of that has been said by my grandmother. Like, and she has addressed those things as a woman to woman where, yes, don't walk around flopping around. Don't do this. You do need to cook for your husband. You do need to do certain things like that. That's just how I was raised. I feel like as a woman or a mother, the woman of the household, you do need to learn how to do those things. And if you don't know how to do it, you need to learn. You need to learn how to keep your man pleased. And he's the one that's going out there. He's carrying y'all on his back. That's how it's supposed to be. But if you have a man who's not doing it, then you're like, okay, no, I don't want to change for you. But he should be going to work, putting in work, and I mean, but not dying, but carrying y'all on his back. So then you're supposed to be the woman for him. Where, like he said, no, men are not shallow. And I know, like my dad and my grandfather, they're not like, wouldn't just come from my mom and my grandma, like, oh, y'all look like this. But because they took such great care of my grandmother and my mother still wants to look good for my dad. And they've been married for 22 years. She gave him 4 kids. Like, she can just kind of just sit and chill. And then with my grandmother still to this day wants to look good for my grandfather. They've been married for 53 years. I think when they put in work, and I'm willing to put money on it that my grandfather nor did my dad cheat on my mom or my grandmother. And because they took such great care, my granddad and my grandmother had 5 kids. They raised 5 kids. They built a church together. They did all of this. He has been the breadwinner for over 50-something years. So, yes, you're going to want to, like, yes, get your wig fixed. Like, why are you coming out here looking crazy? You're a reflection of him. Then you're also teaching your daughters. So, yeah, you have a responsibility as a mother and a wife to do those things. He probably shouldn't, that shouldn't have been a Sunday sermon. That shouldn't have even came from him. Like you said, it probably should have came from the First Lady or an evangelist or something like that. And if it was seen, it becomes a one-on-one conversation. But I think our thing is we want to look good for ourselves, but then we want to make sure, oh, you know, my makeup is done and this and I look good or whatever. But then when somebody tells us that we need to look good or that we need to lose weight, it becomes a problem. But it's like, yeah, you should want to look good for him, because in the same way where you can see a man and you can go and go, oh, well, he's fine, like I like him, he can go and say, well, she's fine and I like her. But I think there is a necessary aspect in that. And like you said, even with the man, they still need to go out there and provide. That's what they are. They're providers. So you make sure that I do have this house that I've been wanting. You make sure that these kids do have what it is they've been asking for. You make sure that food is in the fridge. You make sure that the money is there. You make sure that I got a little something extra if I want it, along with what I'm making. But they're supposed to go out there and be the breadwinners for us. So it's like, I don't, yeah, what he was saying was a little off, but it's like, take care of yourself. Don't go out here looking wild.
I think that's what you said about everybody, though. I think everybody needs to take care
but
of
his message was to women. He titled it as women, so he wasn't going to come in there talking about nobody else. He came through the door knowing he was going to talk about women. Like, if we have a show and we like, okay, well, we talking about Nzinga, why would JB come in here like, why y'all not talking about me today? Like, We came in knowing we was talking about her. So, and nobody can come in and tell us, oh, well, you should have addressed this person and this person. No, we knew who we were addressing.
Not addressing in that moment. What I'm saying is that just collectively as a whole with the church, in the church giving men the same attention and the same accountability like they give women. So if your job is to be the provider, then yes, you should have a whole sermon about how you should be a provider. Like you should have a whole sermon about how you need to take care of yourself.
But I've definitely, and I don't know where I don't. But okay, but who my? And I don't know. Maybe I was just raised in a rare family. I don't know. But it was just we didn't. That was preached, and it was that real thing where if you did not take care of your family, you are worse off than an infidel. That was something that was like an umbrella in our church. So like, and then something that I'm growing up and realizing is that a lot of these men are out here cheating on these women. It's a lot of that is happening. I didn't see that. So I just didn't see it. And I'm willing to bet money that my dad or my grandfather didn't cheat on my grandmother and my mother. But a lot of that is happening where they are having children while they're in relationships for 20-something years. Like, and that's something where it's like, okay, if you cheat on me, yeah, like, no, I'm not sitting up here about to take care of your house. Like, what? So it's like, but I didn't see that. So I'm just saying where with us, it was preached. It was something that I saw in real time where I saw men actually taking care of their households, where it was like a force even before the woman became what she was supposed to become. You better get your stuff together. You just had to. Like, and I don't, if they're not preaching it, then we need to be mindful of where we're going to church, where you don't just go to church somewhere just because. You got to be mindful of it. Like, stop just going to places just because. If they're not telling the men, if you feel like they're not telling the men like to live their lives a certain way, then they're not preaching the whole thing. And then you got to look at the pastor. Okay, so then what are you doing? Are you taking care of your household? What are you doing behind closed doors? Like, what's going on with you? Since you can't seem to preach this message, so why is it that it's not happening? But I mean, maybe it's not being preached everywhere, but I think that is something that should be out there. Like,
but it was preached in your church. But a lot of the times, it's not, like I said, at least for me, I didn't grow up hearing messages like that directed towards men. Like, it was always, as a woman growing up, you need to be prepared to be a wife, and you need to dress a certain way, you need to conduct yourself in a certain manner. It was always that pressure that women felt to be a wife to somebody eventually. Like, from birth up until now, it's all about being a wife. Why do you think we have dolls? Why do you think that we have our little kitchen sets? Because we're raised to be domesticated. We're raised for that one day. And I'm not, like I said, one of these days, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I really, you know, I want to be a wife and everything like that. But at the same time, like, I just feel like men need to be held accountable in the same manner in which women need to be held accountable. So if the standard is for men to provide, is the standard for men to be the head of the household, then you need to be that. You need to be somebody who one day I can submit to. I'm not just about to sit over here and just be a wife just to anybody. So if you got all these people over here preparing to be wives, you're a wife, you're a wife, you're a wife, you're a wife, you're a wife. We ain't got no husbands.
But you gotta, but that also goes to who's mothering these women too. You gotta look at that, because the church is not mothering women or girls. Who's mothering them? What was your example? Well, like, and I guess I can't keep making it seem like just everybody had the example. My mother was a stay-at-home mother, but then she also was making her own bread. She had a daycare in her household. So even though she was taking us, cooking, doing everything as a wife should do, she was profiting off of 6 to 6, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm like, that was my image of that. She mothered me, where it was, I'm taking care of your father, I'm taking care of you, I'm taking care of your brothers, but I'm also making sure I got mine. And she did it in a way that was very smart, that she could be at home. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but you can't just put that on society and stuff. Who's mothering these women that feel like, oh, I just have to go and now love this man and now be a selfless person. Like, it has to also be on the image of who they saw. Who did you see growing up? Was your mother someone who did allow things to happen to her and she didn't speak up on it, or she just stayed in certain situations? Or was your mother someone who was a progressive person, or that spoke up to your father? Like, even if it wasn't a combative thing, but you got to see who's mothering our girls.
Yeah. It's more so situational. I think that's what we're saying, because I mean, like from my experience, my mom was going to nursing school, still being a mom, but she also had a village of my grandparents, my aunts, all helping her, you know, and my dad was working. So I mean, it just really depends on the household, because sometimes, I mean, both parents need to be working to survive, like small families, big families, whatever, especially in this day and age. But I honestly just, the video, like, there was some points where I was like, okay, yeah, because like you said, I did grow up with my grandparents, and my grandma was always like, you better, my grandpa would not go to the grocery store without putting on a collared shirt. Like, he would not go out looking a mess. Like, I think like Southern people, Southern roots, that's really big for them, is pride on how they look all the time. So I was raised like, you don't go out looking crazy. You don't go out, you know, look any kind of way. So I can't understand that, but at the same time, my mom also raised me like, you know, you need to do for yourself. And my grandpa told me, like, your head needs to be in those books, not on those boys all the time. So I think it really is situational. And I mean, the video, I feel like he needs to come out with, like, you know, maybe with the first lady or whatever, because it can, because from the other videos you told us about, I forgot the pastor's name.
Pastor Michael Todd?
Yes.
I was gonna say too, like, this different off of me listening to him.
Yeah, it's like a different vibe. No, it's a different guy, but the tone of the two different preachers. And
because did he talk about women? Because I mean, I feel it wasn't for him to talk about, where it just it shouldn't be from a man. This is a women's meeting type of topic discussion. This is
all you saw were women in the crowd,
and they were. I mean, and people gonna stand up with an organ, and if you hooping a house, people gonna stand up even if you sitting up here. People, that's how black people are. They gonna stand up and then after go get on the phone and go talk like, well, what he was saying, I didn't agree, but no, we got you on tape, clapping and hooping and hollering. No, we got you. Like, but no, you know, they gonna do whatever they gonna do. That's how church people are. Church people are also very sexist. I've even said this to my father and my grandfather. They're just very sexist people. But it once again takes you based on who you were raised around. And even though I was raised by these ministers and stuff, for some reason, like, I still saw my mother being like, when we wanted to go do something, we asked our mother, and my dad would just say, go ask your mom. And in our head, it was like, dang, like, she got more rank than you, but then, like, dad brought home the money, so it kind of, like, balanced out. And even though he carried us on his back, like, even when he lost his job for maybe, like, a few months or whatever, or even him going through, like, his health conditions and stuff, he carried us on his back. And if my mother was there to take care, of, like, the house and stuff, but he shouldn't have. But like I said, my grandmother would definitely, everything that came out of his mouth, that would have came out of my grandmother's mouth. And she's 5th generation Church of God in Christ. So I'm like, I can't dispute what he was saying. But yeah, you got to watch how things are put out. You got to watch how you relay messages, because it's easy for that message to not be received the way that it needs to be received, where it's just a thing where, like, woman, take care of yourself. Woman, make sure that you have something for yourself in case something happens. That could have been that message, where it wasn't just like, put lotion on your ankle. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be ashy, but he shouldn't be saying that as a message, you know, like,
or your dress size changes annually.
What is he saying, that the weight fluctuates, or you getting pregnant every year?
No, you can't get pregnant because you're not good enough.
You're not prepared for pregnancy. Who are
your weight is just so different every year. Like, okay.
And if you know anything about women, you would know our bodies actually change monthly. Like, I gained like 10 pounds. Like, whenever we get ready to, whenever you
on your period.
Yeah.
You gained 10 pounds?
I like look at water weight and then it goes down.
Dang, girl.
I don't know.
Yeah, I water weight and then it goes down.
But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get what you mean, but I don't get that much.
You guys don't?
I get really bloated.
No, I don't know.
Like, some pants don't fit as.
I get bloated.
Do you weigh yourself around your?
I'm sure not to do that. It makes me sad.
But no, I'm saying if you really do weigh yourself though, and your PMS, and when you're around your period, like, you'll see that you're
10 whole pounds.
But I mean, do you eat a lot more? Because I eat like the week before. I'm just like eating.
I'll eat a lot the first day, and then I'm back on my shit.
I kid you not though. So like before then, like I kid you not, the days before, I gain weight. And then after it's over with, I go back down. And I weigh myself again. And I'm back down to what I was before.
I'm not on the scale that much.
I try not to do that. But
this whole conversation though, me seeing this is actually coming off of me watching Relationship Goals, which is what I told you all about.
Love that.
A couple weeks ago. And in Relationship Goals, I highly recommend for everybody to watch it. It's 8 parts to it. It's with Pastor Michael Todd. He talks about relationships and the basis of relationships and how to have a godly relationship. And the first sermon that he preaches is about you being a single person.
Yep.
And learning about how to build yourself up and learning how to place yourself in a position to where you can be purposeful, to where you can really have what God has for you, and you can be a whole person before you get with somebody else.
Right.
And to kid you not, that was the first time I ever actually heard a word that's broken down to where you need to be an individual first, as opposed to you saying you need to be a wife.
Yeah.
Well, no, you need to be an individual. You need to know who you are. Because if you just tell me to be a wife, I just want to be a wife. I don't know who I am.
Now,
but I don't know who I am.
But you are an individual your whole entire life.
No,
your whole entire life up
but
until this point, you're an
his
individual.
point was more so individually with
purpose.
you and God first,
Yeah.
before you can get into a relationship with somebody else, and then y'all bring yourselves together. And I think
And
that
know
was
your
so
purpose.
important,
Yeah.
because how can I learn how to not provide for myself and then start a family and then try to provide for them? I have to learn how to cook for myself first when I'm hungry, when I have to eat, before I go and trying to do my wifely duties. I think his focus was more so like individual. You need to focus on your purpose, yourself,
and you progress like
exactly.
as you get
and
to
you'll
different parts, it
transform.
progresses into
Yeah,
you
because there's
getting to
different
marriage.
levels.
But I'm
of
just
yourself,
saying, I don't think
you
that's
know?
the counter to being told that you should learn how to be a wife. Because if in your head, when you want a job and you're like, oh, I want to be a doctor, they're not going to tell you, well, learn how to doctor yourself and then you can come to like get your doctorate, you know? Like they're going to but when you know that you want to be something, you like, yeah, you got to prepare your mind. I feel like that it's not the counter. Yes, I understand learn how to be an individual, and I understand them telling you to be a wife, but it's like if you want to be a wife, you can't complain about somebody telling you to carry yourself as a wife. You have to carry yourself as a wife.
I think they're telling you, though, you need to take care of yourself more so.
But the emphasis in that message, like I said, was the first time I had really heard a word where it was like focusing upon you being an individual and you living out your purpose and finding out what your purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, instead of somebody just beating it into you, like, oh yeah, you need to be a wife. And that's really how I felt, because if this is a whole series about relationship goals, it's not just starting off like, okay, you be a wife. Like, no, it's taking you in a progression. Okay, you're single, you're dating, then you get into a relationship, then you get engaged, then you get married, then you have kids, and he walks you through that in all different parts. And even up on the parts, which I think it was very helpful, is the fact that he had his wife with him, and they talked about it from both sides. What do men need? What do women need? And it was a conversation on both sides. So it wasn't just a one-sided conversation where it was just coming from like, oh yeah, well you need to do this. And no, like everybody needs to be held accountable upon their own individual, upon this side and that side. And that's why I respected it so much. So after coming off of looking at that, I'm feeling good. I'm like, I'm about to get my life. I have my
soulmate.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm individually ready. You know?
And I'm fearfully, wonderfully made. So now I'm like seeing this. I'm like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
But
do you not agree with the whole aspect of keeping yourself?
I agree. I agree that everybody keep themselves
wait.
up. Keep yourself up.
We have a man in the building. We need to ask. First, actually,
you heard me real hard.
I'm sorry, because I knew you was getting ready. But we actually really need to go into a quick break.
Okay.
We will be back with this discussion and talk about some of our favorite moments of this season. So we'll be right back, y'all.
I go to the bathroom.
Took some fighting, and I prayed real hard. It took some crying in the dark. It took a revival when I was scared to try. But finally, I've arrived. It took some lonely roads. It took correction and and it got personal. When my walk was reduced to a crawl, now I see it was worth it all. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yeah. I'm alive. Yeah. Still standing. Still standing. Yes, I am. I'm This is for everyone, knows where I'm coming from. Many battles we've won. If you're standing and you are still living, say yeah. Say yeah. 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 If you know what you've been through, and you're still standing, and you're still living, say come and see what the Lord has done. I'm alive.
You guys, welcome back to Queen's Table Talk here on the Hub Radio. Let's get back into this conversation. If you have been tuned in with us, you know we were talking about this this video, this sermon by Pastor.
What Dre had to say.
All right. Oh, he was in here earlier listening to this video. Dr. Matthew Stevenson.
What you think?
Did y'all watch it already?
Yeah. We did, yeah.
I agree with some of the stuff he said. I don't think it's for a church setting. I think that's what I said. Probably out of line for coming at him like that.
You said the ashy thing?
But I do agree with some of the stuff he
You
said.
gotta put some lotion. Like he's like really like
ankles though. That was.
But I'm mad that like that he like stopped and was like lotion. Like what did you like?
He seemed a little lit or something.
Yeah, it was too much. It was too much. But we have another man up in here, Mr. Xavier. How you doing?
I'm good.
This is the
Man,
don't tell him what to do. This is the bae of Miss Lovely Leah.
Hello.
They just celebrated the 6-year anniversary.
That's so funny because I could have swore like at the beginning she was like, I don't want nobody to know that I'm in
I know, I got his whole face.
You can be seen now.
Right.
He's in front of the camera now.
6 years.
It was like I don't want nobody to know about my relationship.
You finna come out of your shell.
I don't want nobody to know my name.
Well, I mean, it's like I've talked about him like 50 times already, so it's like might as well just show his face.
This is the
He'll
bae.
get stopped on the street now. No,
Let us know what you think about this video.
Honestly, I think I feel the same way as like a Kanye situation. Like I think it's a good message. It's just, brother, you delivering it the wrong way. Like it's just, it shouldn't have been in a church setting. Like just multiple things. You know, you have a wife as a helpmate. You know, and you can't be like, oh, men aren't shallow because we're visual people, and then you name everything that is like something a shallow person would name, like, oh, you gotta have lotion on your ankles, your dress size changes every year, you gotta stop that. Like you're a person just like anybody else. Like, we gain weight every year and we lose weight every year just like women do. Women anatomically are pretty much the same as men, so I can't like hold you to a certain standard if I'm not at a certain standard. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. If we're in covenant with each other, we should be equally yoked. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm here for that. You got it from a man, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, no. And that's how I feel too. Like, and I'm just thinking about it more so because there are women who, I feel like if you say stuff like that, it's like women are already dealing with insecurities. And for you to say stuff like that, especially in a church setting, and we talked about this before, why millennials are leaving the church. I feel like for somebody, if somebody is not secure in their faith, or somebody's not secure in the word and who they are, they can hear a message like that. It'll be your first time going to church and be like,
you messed up.
Yeah. So I almost feel like you have to be careful when it comes to topics like that. You have to be careful when it comes to people's vulnerabilities, especially if you are a pastor, because you are really like dealing with people's insecurities. You're dealing with their souls. You're dealing with who they are. And when we had went to that event, when they were talking about how there was somebody who they thought, it's like certain stuff like that. We even had a conversation about that. Like, you don't bring up like certain, like, there's a way that you go about still being sensitive to people's feelings and being sensitive to people's insecurities, being sensitive to people's most how do I say, like, to be sensitive to their vulnerabilities, I'll say. And nowadays, I just feel like, people don't need a reason to leave church nowadays. So it's like you have to, like I said, that was just irresponsible, I think, for you to deliver a word like that. And I think I was more so disappointed at the fact there was a lot of women who were like shouting off of that. Like, I get it. Like, as women, I was taught that too growing up, that we're supposed to have ourselves together, and that just as a person, as an individual woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, forget even having a husband. Like, as a woman, you need to have yourself together, And even as a man, I would expect for you to have that same standard of cleanliness and have that same standard of personal grooming. I believe that across the board. But for you to say, like, that's just supposed to be what you have to do to get a husband or to make your husband, no.
So what if it would have been a woman saying it though?
A woman saying it? I probably would have said the same thing, because we had that conversation about what's her name? Juanita Bynum. Like, I just feel like there's some way that you go about saying stuff.
So not in front of the congregation, but what about if it's a women's meeting?
If it's a women's meeting, like, you can still convey that message as a woman, but it's the way that you go about your delivery.
Okay, so this is also what I want to say too, where I feel like we as women, if we saw someone that was loose or looked a certain way, I feel like we just, and this is just being natural, we would be like, well, if she looking like that, how does she have a husband? So I feel like that's something, a conversation that we would just have just naturally, and then we probably wouldn't think about it. So it's like if we have that in our head that other women are supposed to look a certain way, but then when someone says it to us, we're like, why would you say this? But I'm pretty sure if you saw a woman walking around with kids and maybe her husband is at work and she looked like rough, you would be like, yo, you need to get yourself together. Like, I feel like, but we got to look at it from all sides. Where
situational.
Where it's like, if you saw that, you would probably come for her like, yo, she looked a little weird. But it's like when someone is now telling you not to look like that, now it's an issue. Now, not from him, not in front of the congregation, from a woman like, well, Juanita Bynum saying it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, y'all shouldn't be out here wearing these tight dresses as choir directors, where you know your butt is facing the congregation and you up here wanting to just run from the top, like no.
Did you see that video?
Like no, it's just.
Did you see that video of the girl in the? I don't know if this was like real, but it was. She had like this gold jumpsuit, and she was directing the choir. Did anybody see that?
There was another like that with booty shorts. She had on booty shorts and fishnet, and she was leading like a choir concert. Yeah, like this happened like maybe 2 months ago or something like that. It was.
It's like, you gotta be mindful of those things. But I think if it was on the other side, we would criticize it. But then when they're putting the things down, the formation or whatever it is down, so that you don't get in that realm.
You take that person to the side. I just think people.
But what about the preventive maintenance? You have to put preventive maintenance so that those things don't happen. I feel like that's an act of preventive maintenance. What they're saying.
I think some people just are not used to the raw meat and potatoes.
Right.
you know,
they
want
yeah.
So right, because I mean, where I go to church, like it's raw all the time, real all the time. So I mean, this to me, like if I was sitting there, I'd be like, but I'm like used to the real being taught. So I mean, I think it just really from where you come from, your church background, your lifestyle, your upbringing. Because I mean, to me, this wasn't surprising, but at the same time, it was like some things you kind of have to pick out and say, okay, that may not pertain to me. Like this is not how I was raised, you know. So I mean, because connected to that, I mean, my ankles are always lotioned down. Right. Always. I lotion down my whole body every day. Yeah. So, I mean, just certain things you gotta just,
exfoliate.
Choose. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, now we're gonna get into some going down memory lane, right?
Well, this was great. This was great. This was grand. So,
thank you to our special guest.
Oh, thank you so much, Xavier, for being.
He just like ran
holding it down for the men over here.
Thank you.
But we've talked about it before. So we have been moving nonstop since September with QTT. So today is going to be our last episode until the fall. So we're going to take a summer break.
Yes.
We're going to take some time. Vacation. Get our mind right. Rejuvenate. You know what I'm saying? Come back bigger and better. But we definitely have grown as a group. We have grown individually.
Yes.
And have really, I'm just so proud of you. And we have grown like so much. And we've definitely had some fun times here on the show. I really hope that you all have enjoyed like the beginning of Queens.
Season.
The first season. Can you call it a season?
Yes.
Yeah, like the first season of Queens Table Talk.
It's been long enough. Shoot.
Yeah, I guess you can call it a season. Okay, so first season of Queen's Table Talk. I really hope that you all have enjoyed it. I truly thank every last one of you who have supported us. The Lord
Almighty. We gotta thank Him.
Come on now,
because this was just a thought, honestly. And then Monique, you really did this. You really. I remember the day we were at BJ's over lunch. You're like, I'm gonna take you to lunch. I got something to ask you. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? You need to talk to me about something? Like, what's going on? So she sat me down and was like, hey, she told me the whole spiel about everything. And then she was like, I really want you to be a part because I really admire you. And I was just like, me? Little old me? Like, you're trusting me to be a part of something greater and big. Yes. First I said I gotta pray on it, and then
you did say that. I gotta pray on it.
I said, I gotta pray on it because this is a really big thing, and it's just a lot. That just sounds like a lot. So I gotta pray on it, and then I'll let you know. But then I was just like, you know what, God, like obviously you're bringing this towards me because you want me to come out of my shell more. You want me to kind of be, more in line with what you have me doing in the future. So I just want to say thank you to you guys. You guys honestly have helped me come out of my shell a lot. I mean, from the first show to now, like, you can totally see, like, a difference of, like, how I am. But, yeah, like, some of the most funniest moments I've had with you guys. Monique, she has her little things that she does, and we always, like, laugh at her. She always goes, like, oh, my gosh, I just don't know. I don't know. Or she'll be like, you know what? Like, and then we realized that she says up on a lot.
I didn't realize that they called me out on it last week. Oh, up on. Yeah. They called me out on it last week.
Up on or upon or something like that.
I didn't know that was a problem. That was, like I said, it's a problem. No, I didn't realize I said it so much.
Something you do a lot. And then Jasmine, you always. Sometimes I would get scared over here, like because you would with these nails, you'd be like just so into it, and I'd be like, she's about to poke me in the eye with these nails, just grabbing, like So, I mean, you guys have heard all of our technical difficulties on the show, but, So, do you have any funny moments, Jasmine?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean, it's just cool, the conversations. I'm always here for conversation. But just to be, like you said, a part of it, being here from kind of the beginning and when we had to, like, kind of, or not we, but people kind of left or whatever.
Made some changes.
Yeah, it hasn't been.
Production changes.
Okay. Hold it back. Okay, we know.
But yeah, it's been ups and downs, and we as Black women have stayed committed at least to the first season and seeing the movement be what it is. So yeah, I'm excited to be a part of it and just being a staple of Black women that completed something, even though in no way, shape, or form was it completely easy and was everything always agreeable or on cloud nine. Like there's, you know, things have went on, but the movement is to be an image or to a representation of something else that has not been there. So yeah, there's a lot of people that probably talk about us. We have no idea like what, not talk about us in a negative way, but talk about, you know, QTT and like, oh, you know, there's this show and stuff. So we really have no idea who we have affected. But yeah, so I love a movement, especially a movement that's here for like a greater cause. So yeah, it was cool to be on the first run of it.
No, yeah, ultimately, you know, I truly appreciate both of you for believing in the vision, you know, because sometimes, like, it's really hard to get people, when you have visions and when you have an ideas, like, it's kind of hard to get people to buy into it, and for you both to just be like, okay, this is what we gonna do, okay, cool, you know, I'm here for it, let's do it. And ever since then, like, it's just been nonstop from there. So I truly appreciate you guys, both of you, from the bottom of my heart, for really being upon this wave and to really push the...
I'm just laughing at Monique.
What I do?
All night you've been...
Because I got nails.
Yeah, I'm like, you feeling these nails? Because I keep hearing... So, what do you think about the jazz of now and today? Like, you just been with these nails.
Because I had my nails. I just got my nails done. So.
You let us know, girl.
You be all extra and stuff when you get your nails done. You start talking like, you know. But, no, for real. I truly appreciate both of you for truly believing up in this. And, you know, for sticking through it, you know. I'm not going to say bad, but through everything good, through thick, thin, everything, we are still here. And you guys, like, we did it. You know, we got through our first season of Queen's Table Talk, and we gonna come back, and I'm here for this. I'm really hoping that, you know, each of us, we all get some relaxation, get a mental break, check in with ourselves, and then, like I said,
shout out to Mr. Hub City Dre.
The Hub Radio. How can we forget the Hub
and
Radio?
Our executive producer T in the back, always sending us to breaks. Even when we don't see her, she be waving that sign like, "Come on, y'all need to go break." And Monique be like, "Oh, okay, we gonna go to break."
And the times that I forget to actually put my microphone in front of my face.
Yes, and then buttons in the beginning.
Oh, that's right.
That was a struggle.
Yeah, it was. But you guys, we are here. We got through it.
Did you think we would make it, Dre? Because you for sure sat us down. Black women have an issue, and I'm going to need you to not have that issue. Yes. All of Compton is counting on you as 3 black women to get together. Because he was like, because there's a list of black women that have not completed, and you can go on that list. So I'm like, okay, all right.
Good job.
Dre.
Yes. Y'all did, man.
We did.
You're not going to put us on the list? Can you make a post? We're starting a new list of successful black women groups.
Radio.
Put this in the books, okay?
Yes.
That's for real, man. That's for real.
Yes, indeed.
This is the first time I've seen it.
Oh,
really?
Jesus, look at him.
We're making history, y'all.
Yes, we are.
New black history makers.
Right.
Hello.
You should get the shirts plugged.
A new batch. We just ordered some, so if you want a shirt, hit me. And then also shout out to the Good News Radio. They are ending their show. They're doing their 200th show June 1st, and Zinga will also be playing the sax there, and Deja will be their opener, their entertainment for the night, which is super dope because they found her at they found Nzinga at an initiative event too. So it's really cool to see like something that I put together, my brand being of service to the community in terms of like entertainment. So yeah, that will be happening, and you know, Hub City Dre will be in the building. The Good News will be in the building. It's always a good vibe when we get family together. So if you are free, shoot through. It's at Echoes, and hit them up if you want to take it, or DM me and I can shoot you some tickets or whatever. But definitely come through. It's gonna be such a vibe. That is truly my family. So I'm very but proud of them. 200 shows is a hell of a milestone. So I'm excited to be a part of that move. I'm excited to be a part of the radio movement in LA. We had a show with Keith and Dre, and that's what we kind of talked about, just being on this new wave of like in 15, 20 years, and they're like, hey, why did radio start booming in LA? I'm glad to be on that list of people who are like affecting and making a change. So
Yes, indeed. But on that note, you guys, this is Queen's Table Talk. We are signing off for the night until the fall. So don't forget this QT2 where we help you discover,
unlock,
and protect
your magic.
Be blessed, y'all.
We should have said still follow us.
Too patient now, just pass it down. Back and forth, you're out the door, then want some more. Too patient now, I'm screaming out. You won't allow me to be great. I graduated, and you just hate my progression to higher things. Don't hold me back, I'm ready for my life to change. You might win and you might lose sometimes, but when you make them lose their mind,